Do you want to earn through sports betting like this and this? Well, I can teach how to do all of that with a tool that I use called OddsJam, but most people aren't ready to do the hard work. And here's the thing, I completely understand that. Looking at OddsJam for the first time, I thought I was having an aneurysm. But what's the alternative though? Chasing big wins and some trusted guy on Twitter selling max unit bangers? I don't often say this, but there are a few guaranteed things in life. Death, taxes, and a bleeding bankroll if you trust any of these fake pick gurus. In fact, I think every pick guru is fake. But okay then, Luke, so who do I trust? Well, it's not who, it's what. Trust math. And that's all there is with OddsJam. It does the heavy lifting for you so you can use complete logical betting decisions. And maybe you feel like I'm just yapping here, but I've seen too many people bet emotionally. And I've seen how quickly that destroyed their bankroll and any hopes of them winning. It's a very simple mindset shift, but if you trust the math in OddsJam, I'm 80% sure you're going to see more bet slips like this. Just take a look at this guy from our community who recently shared his win. That's over 2,000. Just a combination of OddsJam and logic. But you don't even need to be a genius to do this. All you have to do is click the link in the description and join the community. Or scan this QR code right here if you're watching it on TV. But before you say OddsJam is just like any other tool, I'm going to say you're right. Unless, of course, you know where to go. And in this case, it's the Positive EV tool. This is where you will spend most of your time with the software. And here's why this thing is so powerful. Most bettors only use 1 or 2 sportsbooks, but that's like shopping for a new TV at just one store. Of course, you're going to get ripped off. You see, value only shows up when you can compare prices across multiple stores, or in this case, multiple books. OddsJam scans 40 plus sports books, and that's where the actual edge comes from. So let me show you an example. Here, we've got Baylor versus SMU, first quarter team total, SMU over 7.5. 7 different books are offering lines on this exact bet. Midnight Sportsbook has it at 2.75 in decimal odds, which is plus 175 in American odds. Now, most other books have it closer to 2.20 to 2.53, but the average across the market is 2.53. So why does that matter? Because at 2.75, Midnight is basically saying there's only a 36.4% chance of this hitting. But the true market projection, based on all the other books, is around 40.5%. That gap creates an 11.47% positive expected value, and that's what OddsJam does for you. It helps you find bets where the sportsbook is accidentally giving you better odds than reality suggests. And when you stack these kinds of plays day after day, you tilt the edge away from those dumb bookies and instead back towards yourself. But now the question is, how do we actually know if these bets are really positive EV? That's where filters come in. Filters cut out all the noise so you only see the bets that actually matter. And here's how I set mine up. First, I only look for bets with at least 3% positive EV, because sometimes the calculations can be slightly off or the market can move quickly. So having that 3% buffer gives me some leeway and makes sure I'm stacking the deck in my favor. Second, I want at least 4 sports books covering the game. If there is only 1 or 2 books posting odds, then the average isn't reliable. For example, I pulled up a bet the other day. Carolina Panthers versus Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence over 32.5 passing attempts. OddsJam flagged it as plus 2.82% EV at 1.98 odds. Looks good, right? But when I dug into the odds screen, I saw only 3 books offering lines. With so few data points, one book being way off can distort the whole calculation. That's why having at least 4 books to compare is necessary. It can give you a stronger consensus, which reduces the chance of chasing false edges. And finally, the market width. Market width is basically the juice or the vig that the sportsbook builds into the line. The tighter the width, the more efficient and reliable the market. But if the market width is super wide, it usually means the line is soft, unsharpened, or there's not enough action on it yet, so the EV number can be misleading. That's why OddsJam recommends filtering for 20 to 25. That's the sweet spot. So to recap, 3% EV minimum. At least 4 books on the market. Market width between 20 to 25. Set those filters and you'll instantly cut out 90% of the junk and only see the plays that are actually worth your money. But finding good lines is only half the game, because even the sharpest edge means nothing if you don't know how to size your bets. Which brings us here. Most bettors guess how much to bet each time. $50 here, $100 there. And then they wonder why their results are all over the place. But there's actually a math formula that tells you exactly how much to bet to grow your bankroll faster and safer. It's called the Kelly criterion. In September, I started testing out the Kelly criterion calculator inside OddsJam. You just enter your bankroll, the odds, and how much edge, like expected value, the bet has. The calculator then tells you the perfect bet size, and this is the amount that maximizes your profit while managing risk. I went through an unlucky streak, I lost a few days in a row and thought it wasn't working, but I stuck with it, and by the end of the month I finished up $4,410.56. All from following positive EV bets using Kelly sizing. So here's my advice. Use Kelly or flat units. Both work, but Kelly adjusts bet size based on your edge. Then start small. I recommend using 1/4 Kelly. It's safer and reduces risk during losing streaks. Also watch for weird edges, meaning if you see a bet that looks too good, like 30% plus EV, it might be a data glitch. So don't go all in, instead size down. And lastly, stay consistent. Keep using OddsJam to calculate your bet sizes and find positive EV bets. The Kelly criterion takes emotion out of betting. It's like having a math coach that tells you exactly how much to risk, so you grow your bankroll faster without blowing it up. And speaking of coaches, I built a private community on OddsJam where each member can get the support and guidance they need. Inside, we track bets, compare results, and share what's actually working, so you can become profitable. And if you don't believe me, one member posted their winnings the other day, and let's just say the results speak for themselves. So if you want to join 80 plus sharp bettors who want to take sports betting and OddsJam seriously, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code right here. But next up, we have step 5. And this part is simple, but it's where most sports bettors fall off. Man, when I first started betting, I swore I was crushing it. You know that feeling? A couple of nice wins, a hot weekend, you start walking around like you cracked the code. Then one night I got curious and actually added it all up. Turns out I was down almost $700. And after a night of spiraling, that's when it hit me. Just because a bet looks good doesn't mean it is. So if you're not tracking your numbers, you're just guessing at this point, which is honestly a gamble you don't want to take. Luckily, you don't need anything fancy. A Google Sheet works, or something like JuiceReel, Pickit, or the built-in OddsJam tracker. And here's the rule of thumb. If you're beating the closing line like 70% of the time, you're finally on the right side of the math. And once you get the hang of it, something annoying might happen. Okay, so let me explain. A while back, a guy in our chat signed up at a new book and started torching closing lines like it was nothing. 5 days later, he gets that little email basically saying, "We're limiting your account." Fun, right? I'm joking. Getting limited sucks. But it's also the book's way of saying, this one's sharp. Better watch out for him. And weirdly, it's like a badge of competence. So don't rage quit, plan. Like spread your action across several legitimate sports books and exchanges. Scale in slowly so you don't light up their risk models. Or mix bet types and sizes so your account doesn't scream robot. Use the tools that track limits and exits. And when a book gives you grief, lean on others instead of burning bridges. That way you can stay on top of the books without needing to start from scratch. And yeah, I know that limit letter stings, but remember, it's also proof that you're not playing video games anymore. You're part of the big leagues now. Now, let's make sure you stay that way. So, click this video next. I studied 1,000 bets to figure out how to stop bleeding money like Lock Daddy on a cold streak. Because what's the point of being sharp if you're still leaking money?